Now for the hardware, I'm installing this panic bar on the inside. Panic bars, you push them and the latch moves. And then on the outside, we have this keyed lever lock, commercial grade. And these are pre-bored, and the back set is 2 3/4. When you buy these things, don't try to buy separate pieces. Make sure you buy them from the same manufacturer because they have to work together. Sometimes you just put a panic bar on the inside and nothing on the outside. But in this case, they've got this knob, so you can see the panic bar has that cross. So this knob, you see that spindle goes right in there. So when you turn this thing, it engages the strike. You got a lot of screws with these things, don't lose them. And they give you different size screws for these cover plates for the strike. Now obviously if we were using a conventional lock, we would be putting a strike plate in there and that would come with the lock. But since we're using the panic bar is gonna engage over here so we can cover that up. Now when you're putting in these commercial locks, see they have these right here. Those have to go into the door because that's an extra safety feature so the lock can't spin around. So you have to mark those and drill a hole for that just on one side. Those do not have to be perfect, but that lock has to go in there. You can't force it in. See, that fits nice. Now I put this plate over here and put the 2 screws through, and that holds our lever in place. And when you snug those down, you don't want to crank them too tight, and you want to check. That thing should go back on its own. If you move it down and it just sticks there, this thing could be out of alignment. It could be twisted, it could be crooked. Maybe your holes aren't big enough. You can't force anything with locks. It has to find its happy place. Now we have to put this on here. And once it's on here, I got to get a screw in there with my other hand to hold that thing in place. And I want to try to get this thing, it doesn't have to be perfectly level, but I want to try to get it as level as possible. So while I'm holding this bar in place, I want to put one of these machine screws through, this hole and this hole. So the trick is to push all that together, and you have to keep testing it to make sure it engages. And then I've put those 2 screws in there while I was holding it. Now you see this thing is still not secure. It can still wiggle around a little bit. So what I want to do is get my bracket in there. See, that little flange sticks inside there. That's going to hold the bar. So I just want to move it up a little bit, hold it in place. Then I'm going to put in a self-tapping screw. And I always keep, a bunch of 1-inch self-tapping metal screws right there. I don't like the screws that they give you with these packages. Now that thing is holding the bar. I want to keep testing everything. See? That's how you want it to work. So I just put another screw there, top and bottom. Put another one over there. And once again, check everything. Make sure you have the smooth operation. If something is sticking, back off your screws a little bit, maybe wiggle something around till that lock finds its happy place. That lock is very happy. Put this cover back on. And we put this cover on here. And see, they give you these tiny machines. Get a small hand screwdriver and put those in. So there, I've got all the screws in, one top and bottom. Got top and bottom on this side, top and bottom on this side. Now it's time to install the strike. It gets mounted on the jamb like this. When the door closes, it's gonna go like that, and that holds it in place. So this can't be too far out because it has to hit this. And it can't be too far in because it needs room to move. I'm gonna line this up with the center of the strike because I know the lock will hit right there in the center. So I line that up and then I move it over here. And I move it back just a little bit and draw my lines. So now I know I want to drill right in the center of that oval because if I need to adjust this thing, I want to be able to move it back and forth a little bit. And these strike plates come with these self-tapping screws, but I always pre-drill them because you want this to be precise. You don't want these things jumping around. So I have those just snug enough so that thing is tight. They aren't cranked down, but they aren't so loose that that thing's gonna flop around, because you might have to move this a little bit. Let's test it. Look at that. You don't want it so tight that it's binding, because any little shift will cause this thing to not work. So that's real nice. There's just the tiniest bit of wiggle in there. So now that I know these are where I want them, just give it a little crank. Some of these strike plates have an extra hole here, that it's not the wide oval, it's just a single hole or two single holes. And here's what you do with that. Once you have this thing adjusted where you want it, then you would drill through that single hole and put another screw in there, and then that holds everything very snug. Let's do a final test. Make sure everything works. Great. Just learned how to install a panic bar.